Market.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another motherfucking episode of Blunt Talk Podcast. You already know what the fuck is going on and where we are. We're at our home podcast studio here at Megaland Studios. Sidebar, if you hear the fan in the back, me and Emma had to be cool and batty as always. So we had to put the fan on because it's hot. Period. So, like I said, you already know we're here at Megaland Studios. I would showcase the EBS 413 hair supply products, but I forgot them. But you know, that's not going to stop us from shouting them out. Let's go to EBS 413 on Instagram to get all your hair care needs. They go live, they show you wigs. Okay, stay in tune. They show you how to look like a baddie. And then I'm also flash a picture of the hair care products. Like I said, moisture, amazing, stays in there, helps my locks, my kids' hair. Beautiful, beautiful. Period. All right. So to the left of me, y'all know I have a hard time with my left from right. To my left, we have Emma from Elevated with Emma, another amazing podcaster. You know, we had to link up. It was only right. So before we dive into the questions and the interview, can you get a little background to my YouTube family and my audio family about where they could find you and again what your podcast name is?
Yeah, so I am my podcast is Elevated with Emma, and you can also find me on Instagram, which is Elevated with Emma as well. I think honestly, all of my social media is Elevated with Emma.
Ooh,
I
we
think that
love
might be
it.
Yeah, my TikTok, Elevated with Emma, my YouTube, Elevated with Emma, everything.
Well, you already know what to go do. Go tap in with Elevated with Emma. That's her podcast name. Go tap in with Emma. Her podcast is amazing. And don't worry, we're about to dive into why I think it's amazing. You already know I had to watch it. I want to bring someone on my podcast that I don't support. I'm just saying, no shade. So, were you born and raised in Massachusetts your whole life?
Yeah, I was. I was born and raised in Hamden,
Okay.
Massachusetts, little town.
Okay. Well, how old are you?
I am 21.
Ooh, I know I'm not supposed to ask the lady their age, but I just had to know. Just emerging into womanhood. It's okay. So on your podcast, right? I believe it was one of the latest episodes, maybe like 4 episodes down. Don't quote me. You said that you were rebranding and trying to find your niche. Do you think you found it?
I think I might have found it. I honestly have so many interests and like I want to cover so many topics on Elevated with Emma that I have a hard time sort of narrowing down to one like niche, but it's like I talk a lot about spirituality, which I think is my main thing. But I also love to talk about like self-development and how to really get into your higher self and your highest frequency
Yes.
as well. So I kind of try to stay in that range of topics.
Yeah.
So I think that that's definitely what I love to talk about.
Well, I say you don't have to have one niche. You don't have to have one. I noticed that you do like seasons.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you could do seasons where on one season you cover one thing. I overall love it. You are the first podcast that I actually listen to. I'm not an audio girly at all, but you have a really nice voice.
You.
Your excitement excites me because you're excited to convey your message. You articulate your message very well, and you're just like, it's like a big sister vibe.
You think so?
Of course.
Because I feel the same way about your podcast.
Stop.
I binge it. I binge every single episode.
Y'all, you know, I get a little.
I don't binge that much episodes. Like, I am very, very, like, what's the word? Particular with the podcast that I like. And I
Yes.
only like at least, I can count on my fingers, like 5 podcasts that I just do. It's like I watch it like it's a show. And you're one of them.
Oh
like,
my
yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, so this is so corny, but I get nervous and anxious and it like to record. I don't know what it is. I've been recording for 5 years, but it just always feels like the next episode is the very first episode.
I know exactly what you mean.
So that just honestly just made me feel happy. I'm doing so right, y'all. Okay.
You sound like a natural every single time you get in front of the mic. It's like
Thank you.
you don't even see that the camera's there. I know, yeah, it is hard.
It
It's
is.
difficult.
It is.
Yeah.
And people don't think that it's hard. People don't understand the amount of time and effort. I said on my last episode that just dropped, podcasting is hard. It takes a lot of time and effort. It's not just setting up a camera and recording, especially if you have a podcast like you and I that is very much so structured.
Yes.
And I think that's why me and you are the same a little bit, where I'm very particular with what I watch, because if it's all over the place, I
Yeah,
can't get
no,
with it.
me neither. Me neither.
So as you said, you binge. I binged.
Mm.
I binged as I was cleaning, as I was just playing Animal Crossing on my Switch. I binged, and I'm also very much so a spiritual girly. I'm gonna tell everyone a secret. I'm more so spiritual than I am religious, and it is because I grew up as a Jehovah Witness, and so me being in the Kingdom Hall atmosphere, I'm not going to say, and this is no shade to anybody that practices what they practice. It's just me going into being an adult. It's very hard for me to go back to the Kingdom Hall. So you guys see me wearing my evil eyes, and it's just because I'm very much so of an energetic person where I feel like people definitely put on bad energy to you, and I need to protect that at all times because I'm a mother, I'm a baddie, and I'm a businesswoman, and y'all ain't gonna put your bad juju on me, okay? So I found it very refreshing to listen to your podcast because you get into all of that. And it's like when I said it was a big sister vibe, it's because you're being a big sister and explaining to your little sisters that just because you're in a world of low vibrational bitches, you don't need to succumb to that low vibrations.
Yep. It
I
took
love
me
it.
so long for me to figure that out though, for
Yeah.
myself, that I can literally change my vibration and my energy and not sink down to others' vibration and energy.
Yeah.
It's hard work too.
It is. I always tell my people, especially this is for like artists, right? You know how music is a little bit watered down, especially in the hip hop and R&B field. It's very watered down. And I always tell people you don't have to water yourself down or dim your light because other people don't understand you. There's a crowd for everybody,
Exactly.
and you will have your audience. So why like water yourself down and do yourself a disservice when you can just remain you and
And
build
shine. Shine.
exactly.
Everyone shine.
Exactly. Exactly. So this is a question that I had. I know emerging into womanhood, it's a lot. One of my favorite episodes was for sure the let me see here. The truth. Well, wait. Cut the fucking cord.
Oh,
One.
yeah.
And then the hard cold truths of what makes girls' friendships so hard.
Yep.
So emerging into womanhood, I could say going through high school, going to becoming an adult, you have to cut off a lot of people. And especially when you think that you have genuinely good girlfriends around you, you have to cut them off because they're like leeches, as you said.
Beaches. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So how was it hard for you to create those episodes to be vulnerable? And what made you want to speak on them?
I had a situation that happened a while ago that I had to sort of, I hate calling women, leeches, but I'm talking to them, and I guess I'm talking about them in like a more of an energetic way,
Yeah.
that they feel like they're kind of
They're draining your
exactly.
energy.
I had to, cut off a friendship with that person, and it was very hard on me. It was very difficult. And I decided, like, why not make an episode about it? I have so going throughout the years, I have lost so many friends. I have got rid of a lot of people that were just not supposed to be in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and they were there for a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like it's something that needs to be more normalized and talked about, because it's something that is very, emotional and sad, but
Yeah.
it's something that is a blessing in disguise as well.
Yes. We always talk about the difficulties of breaking up with a man, and we never talk about the difficulties of losing a platonic friendship. Platonic love and romantic love is completely different.
Totally different.
I will say some people say that platonic love hurts the most. I say they're equal. But because you are my friend and you are my sister, it cuts a little deep because you were the one that wasn't supposed to leave me or do me how other people did.
Yep.
And one thing that us females don't do, and this is when it comes to platonic in relationships, platonic relationships and romantic relationships, is we don't know how to let go. And a lot of us, even in our 30s, we don't know that some people are supposed to be in your life for a season for a specific reason. And once you learn that lesson, it's time to let go and cut that fucking cord.
Cut that fucking cord.
So I'm happy that you decided to express to your little sisters and to just everyone around the world, because again, even women all ages have this issues, how important it is. Was it hard? Did you feel like you were going to relapse and try to talk to that person
Oh,
again?
and I did.
You did.
I did.
Oh.
Yeah, I did. I shot a couple text messages and a couple of phone calls, and it was just, I knew deep down that it was not working out, and it won't. She's not like that kind of. She's not a good friend.
Okay.
Not a good type of person that you would want in your life. And I knew that if she didn't do it, I have to do it. And I ended up cutting the cords energetically. And taking myself away from her. So it was extremely difficult though. I definitely did relapse and go back a couple times before I was like, I'm done.
We have to learn that lesson completely. Now, with what you study and what you discuss on your podcast, is that a part of like your self-care, you would say?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I felt that. I got that vibe because not a lot of people take time. Like you studied chakras.
Oh, yeah.
And that is important because when you were talking about when you can articulate yourself in a good way, that means your throat chakra has opened. It wasn't until I started potting that my throat chakra became open.
Exactly.
I grew up in a household where it was very much so what I say is the highway. I don't want to hear about your feelings. That is so fucked up. Like being a mom now, that is super fucked up. When I'm a kid, I still have emotions and feelings and I need help processing it. Don't tell me to shut the fuck up, but that's a whole different other story. So now that when I was going into my womanhood, it was so hard to talk.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Even about problems, just communicating, taking accountability. It was so hard for me to do that. Once I started potting with my first podcast, Talking Time with Randy, was like, I couldn't shut the fuck up. It felt so good to release.
Do you know how many voice memos that I have? Because sometimes I record on my computer and other times I record on my phone. I'll be sitting in the car driving. I have at least, I swear, 100 hours worth of me just yapping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me feel good.
It does, but you also have some powerful messages.
Thank you.
And I think it's very important that we listen to and tune into your messages because there's so much content out. And the content that people gravitate towards is messy content.
Oh, yeah. Negative content.
Yes. And it's, again, was so refreshing to listen to your podcast and be like, oh, I'm actually going to learn me something today. I'm actually going to learn me something. So I love it.
Thank you.
Now, I do want to ask, because you said that you record off your phone. Why do you choose to do an audio podcast?
Honestly, when I first started, I had no idea what I was doing. I was doing Spotify with podcasters, and for some reason, it was not an option. I started in 2021, I think. I don't think it was even an option to have video. I might have been wrong. I also think that it was easier to edit.
She ain't never lying, she ain't never lying about that.
It was way easier to edit, and I felt more comfortable when I was in my younger podcasting stage to just like talk instead of worrying about being on camera as well. I felt more comfortable doing that.
Girl.
But teach me your ways because I want to be able to post my shit on Spotify.
I got you for sure. I'll give you all the deets. And that's just for everybody. I don't mean to plug myself in right now, but that's for everybody. Like anybody in the local area that has a podcast or has an idea of a podcast, wants to start a podcast, don't know where to motherfuckers start. Y'all can tap in with Blunt Talk Podcast, aka Princess Randy, aka Randy, and I'll just give you like the blueprint. Like it's very easy once you want to do it, and all that needs to be done is that you want to do it. Emma wanted to do it. She said, "I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to do it," and she has an audio podcast.
Yep.
Amazing. Okay.
You just got to start. You need an idea. That's all you need.
Yes, you need an idea, and I also definitely feel like it's your environment. You need to have people that are like, we want to see you do something that you love. Like I always say, your cousin is my ride or die. Like that is my team. It's me and her for real when it comes to this podcast. And it's so nice because all my friends are creatives. But when it comes to just Alasia and how she is that's my bitch for real. Like she just fucking sent me a light. She's like, you need a better light when you're recording so it can look flat. Here, it's gonna be on Friday. And I was like, okay, thank you. Yo,
so her.
That mic.
Hilarious.
She was like, bitch, get out the bed and start doing your podcast. I bought you a mic. Like it was, like she is one of those. So your environment definitely does influence that and motivate you. Do you have a good set of friends and that motivate you and that support you?
Oh yeah. Okay. I have a great family and a great group of friends that always tune into my podcast and give me feedback and help me record and stuff like that. So I think that without them, I don't think I would have more episodes come out, they're very, very supportive.
Good. That's amazing. You need to have supportive people around you. Now, did anything in your childhood or what you went through maybe in like middle school, high school, propel you or motivate you to start your podcast, or was it just like I just want to talk about shit?
Honestly, yeah. When I was 11, and I don't think I've talked about this on my podcast yet. So this is like the first, yeah, you guys, this is I I've tried to record an episode about this many times. I couldn't post it for some reason. I was very nervous. So, yeah, you guys are tuned in,
Y'all better
right?
tune in and be nice.
When I was 11, worst anxiety ever. I was out of control. I don't know what started it. I was just a very anxious kid. I had to be put on meds. That crisis called on me. I was I was not, and I had a, I don't know, I was, can I swear on here? I
Yeah.
was fucked up. I was fucked up. And there was nothing that happened to me as a kid. I was just very anxious. And I've tried everything from medication, which I'm still on, and it doesn't work,
Mhm.
right? I've tried therapy, that helped a little bit. I've tried every coping mechanism in the book. And then I found crystals.
Mhm.
And this was actually when COVID started to hit and everyone was having that spiritual awakening. And I was like, fuck, this is what is making me, I want to learn more about this.
Mhm.
Right. So I tuned into the crystals, I tuned into the chakras, I tuned into everything spiritual, and it went up from there. Like my anxiety, I've been able to control it ever since,
Yes.
using like tools from, spiritual lessons and spiritual like teachings. And it has done me so much better than sertraline. So get off your sertraline.
Listen, big pharmaceuticals. There's a lot of holistic medicines and just holistic ways that our ancestors did, and they were doing it for a reason. The big pharmas, fuck y'all. What y'all are designed to do is to keep people exactly where the fuck they are at. There's a difference when you're taking medicine to help heal and you're taking medicine to mask. And that's what
Yep.
big pharma
Yep.
is to mask. And it's crazy that a lot of people that do holistics, the government kills. You know what? I'm not even gonna
Should I zip my mouth?
let's get back to these cards. Okay. God damn, I don't even know where the fuck I was at. Okay, so we did that. Okay, another goodie as a big sister talking to their little sisters was how to get over a man one-on-one. Because babes, it's so hard. A lot of people don't understand how hard it is to separate. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people do understand how hard it is to separate. But it's like once it's time to separate, you just have to do it. Whether you have to do that by cutting the cord, whether you have to just go cold turkey, whatever you have to do, but you have to do it. Because when someone is so not good for you, you don't understand nothing in your life is going to prosper. And it sucks because you're like,
You'll be held back.
it's like you're
Held
in
back.
sinking sand or sinking mud, whatever that mud type sand and stuff is, but it's like you just can't move no matter how much you try to. And again, that even goes for friendships. If you ever notice when you ain't learned that lesson, God does not give you your blessing, and it sucks because you're praying like, what the hell?
It goes for any toxic person in your life. It could literally be a parent too. It could be a sibling. It could be anyone.
How do you feel about people cutting family off? Because a lot of people say that's a no-no.
Oh, honestly, I personally never had this happen in my family before. I'm very grateful. I have a very good family. But I've seen it from, distant family where I personally think if something has happened, blood or not, it doesn't matter. If you fucked up so bad, like you're out.
We have to just, us as humans, we have to be scared to put ourselves first. It's like we're so scared to like just put ourselves first and say, you know what, that actually did hurt my feelings, and I actually don't want you in my corner, no matter the label. And I feel like people use labels to be manipulative.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm your parent. I'm your cousin. I'm your best friend. I'm your boyfriend. I'm your husband. You can't do that to me. You can't leave me behind. And it's like,
the fuck I can.
Period. I was just about to say that. Like, you think,
no matter who you are, if you are toxic and if you are doing things to me or to someone else, and I see that shit, you're gone. I don't care if you're blood related or not. If you fuck up to the point where I cannot have you in my life, you're gone.
You have to go.
And family, okay, I will give them, chance after chance after chance. But there's a point where it's not, you don't even feel like family anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're using this label to attack me. And because you're family, I'm just supposed to stay here. No, I don't give a fuck who you are.
Exactly.
Blood is not thicker than water. Okay. I love my family and everyone knows that. But if you do me wrong, this is just for anybody. I do have a hard time with demands. But if you're whatever, you're doing me wrong, then you gotta go. That is it. That is it.
Mhm.
What is the biggest or the most important lesson you learned throughout your potting journey so far?
Oh, to honestly be authentic with what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people, I like to get my point across. I like to have a strong message, which with each and every like episode I come out with, and it needs to be meaningful to me. Because if it's meaningful to me, it's going to be meaningful to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like, if I just sit there in front of the mic and I'm like, if I'm not excited about it, like, guys, we're going to talk about chakras today and how that can help you. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's a very good question, actually. I just feel like I don't know. Like, I need to be really authentic with it because if it's not authentic, it doesn't come out good.
It does not.
And I don't want to listen to it, and I don't want to. I just end up deleting it. It's happened a couple times.
Yeah, you could tell when
Trial
you're
and error.
exactly. You could tell when something when you're not passionate to talk about
Yep.
something. You could tell when you're just like, uh, this episode, meh. Like I'm not gonna lie, there's a couple episodes from this season. You could tell I didn't want to record. I had my hair in a messy bun, my glasses. I was just sitting there like, yo, we gonna talk. It was all things social media. The fuck? I just what the fuck? Like or all things entertainment. Like, okay, that was cute, but I just wasn't feeling it. And you can always tell when you're not feeling something. I also do agree that is one of the biggest lessons that I learned. I had to do a rebrand and fix my content
Mm-hmm.
from Talking Time with Randy to Blunt Talk podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Talking Time with Randy, I was going through some things. Mentally not in a good space. And because I was in a good space mentally, I couldn't even articulate or formulate a fucking thought that made sense. I was using my podcast as like an open diary, like, bitch, you got me fucked up. I'm tight. Da, da, da. Like
I
just
can't post that shit.
yo, it was crazy, but I was posting it. I didn't give a fuck because who's gonna beat my ass? Nobody. So I was just sitting here just posting it like whatever. You know what I mean? But then once I sat back and I it was crazy. I kept seeing angel numbers.
Oh yeah.
The ending of 2023, I kept seeing angel numbers. And then 2024 came about and I was like, I need a journal. So I started journaling and I was like, I need to start podcasting. Like everything just started coming to me. Like as I'm thinking about it, these angel numbers were flashing across my screen. And I was like, oh, okay. Like this is a message here. Then I started to rebrand and I was like, no, it needs to be like this, 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 this. And then like
Like
ever
the
since,
signs,
yo,
universal downloads.
and then ever since then it just feels so right and authentic to do it. Like I get tired because I'm a mom and I was in school and I was like I'm trying to juggle and balance all of this shit. How do I do it? And then now that it's like I have this space, I get to just leave my house to record. Like it doesn't feel like I'm doing it from my house, so everything's done in my house. Like it just everything just started happening, and it was because it was authentic. And then the last sign I got to really rebrand and to start was I kept saying I'm gonna drop my first episode on my birthday, May 28th. I could not sleep some nights. It was like I heard a voice in my head. Don't think I'm crazy, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
I
100%.
heard a voice in my head that was like, get up and record. It was fucking me up because I was like, who the hell? Like, I was like, who is this? Get up and record. And when I dropped my first episode, everything just started going and flowing.
Yeah.
So it took the authenticity to come back. It took my throat chakra to be cleared and restored. Sage, Palo Santo, all that. It took for me to release all those negative energies for me to come back and do Blunt Talk podcast the right way. And so I was very intrigued as well. Not only when you said the authenticity, but bringing it back to the rebranding and the niche. I was very excited because in some episodes I heard the excitement, like when you had your interviews, super excited because that's something that you wanted to talk about. Then I heard days where you were like, guys, like the 7-minute episode. I'm like, girl, what's tea with the 7-minute episode? I need at least like 15, 30. Hello. But I understood you were like, let me just get something out for my people because they want it, but you probably weren't feeling it. And then the next episode, you said, I got to find my niche. So I was like picking up on things.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that that all came to you. Now, were those universal downloads what you were experiencing too during that time?
Oh, 100%. I think that I went through a period through, I think 2021 to 2023 where I was not like, and I'm still not, I'm a very, my mind is all over the place. I'm a creative and it's not just the podcast that I do. I have a crystal business and I have a blog and I have all this shit going on that I'm focusing on so much stuff. So I appreciate how like you have a schedule with your podcast, and I try to have some stuff lined up, and I'm trying to get better at that. But I think a couple years ago I was so all over the place. I didn't know what to talk about. I
You just
didn't
want
know
to talk about
niche
something. You
and
said,
anything. I did,
I
yeah,
need to get it out.
talking out of my ass, and I posted it, and I got a little bit of love back, and I'm like, this is all right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. That's what I
Listen,
need.
listen.
Do you take notes like before you start a podcast? Do you
Listen.
you research it?
I watched all
Yeah.
your
Yep.
podcasts
Yeah.
before. I got to know, I feel like I got to know you before. I wanted to get the vibe of how you were. So this is just advice for any podcaster, upcoming podcaster. If you want a podcast, do it. That's amazing. But try to do it. I have OCD, so everything has to be perfect in a sense. I know it's not going to be perfect, but it has to be perfect. I went from, I know you guys remember seeing my laptop on the table and writing notes and reading from there, from my phone, from a notebook. I then was like, I need something that is condensed, that is just boom. I have to make note cards because it's cool to talk. It's cool to get your point across, but sometimes like when you're trying to get your point across, you tend to forget what the main objective is, and that's what cue cards are. They're to help you just stay on track.
Which I think I might do that because you know what I used to do, and sometimes I still do, and I end up sounding like a robot. I will write down my whole script and read off of that. I will have bullet points, and then I will do my introduction. I don't need to write down my introduction. I know who I am. I know who my podcast is.
You can though. Let's say if you start getting sponsors,
That's true.
you want to
That's
just
very
make sure you. That's why I write my introduction because I have to remember Megaland Studios, EBS. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to find your niche when it comes to how you want to write your scripts. Everyone writes scripts different, but I started like how you did with the writing it down and bullet point and
yeah. It's Virgo. It's Virgo energy. It's what I do. And I don't know. I need to research. If I'm having like a topic and stuff, I need to make sure I have all the information correct so I don't go ahead and just like with the chakras too. I know a lot about them, but I needed to do my research. I dove into like this huge 700-page book. I read all of it and I wrote down everything.
But
everything.
That's the beauty in your craft because there's a lot of people, and I'm just, I say it how it is. There's a lot of people that talk shit but don't fact check it. So you're sitting here spewing out all this information and it's wrong, and we already live in a society where people don't like to fact check.
Yeah. So people just believe shit.
Listen, wait out for next episode. I have a big question. Y'all be asking Googleable shit on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter as if y'all overlooked the Safari and the don't even. So because people already don't cite, because in school we had to learn how to cite, right? Because you already don't cite things, I need to make sure that on my podcast, if I'm talking about something informational, and you as well with yours, you're like, no, y'all not gonna have me fucked up saying I said this wrong. You kept saying in your podcast too, if I said this wrong, let me know. I was like, bitch, fuck it. If you said it wrong, you said it wrong. They know what you mean.
I know in the back of my head I didn't though. Come on now.
So I love it. And I am a source. Like, if you ever want to just write me, or even like you said, after we're going to have a conversation, you could always utilize me. I'm here because I want everyone to eat. I want everyone to have the most amazing podcast in the world. And honestly, as creatives, we need to have our community. Like, what the fuck?
100%. Yeah.
Like, podcast community, where y'all at? Hello? Anyways, so with that, how do you balance life and podcasting? Do you ever get overwhelmed and it's like,
Yeah. So one of the things that I find really helpful is whenever I have like a free day, I decide to sort of record at least 3 to 4 podcasts in one session, right? Where I make sure I'm super energized. I have my coffee, I eat, I do something, I'm in a good mood, and then I will go boom, 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 boom. And then so that kind of makes me a little bit less overwhelmed. So then I can schedule them for each week. And then sometimes I do get overwhelmed about it.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of information, I have a lot of topics, I have a lot of people that I want on my podcast. So it's a lot, So I work again the crystal business. I'm dealing with some family sickness right now. It's been a lot lately, but I like to sort of group them together.
Are your businesses, including your podcast, like your little escape from reality? Like, do you feel like it's because you're passionate about it, it's easier for you to it doesn't feel like work to you?
It does not.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's more of like a hobby that I get paid a wee bit for.
Yeah.
Just a wee bit.
Don't worry. Plug in with your business so they know where to find you so that they can buy crystals. I know I'm gonna buy some crystals. I need
Thank
some
you.
crystals. I lost my elephant. I can't even think about what crystal was. I think it was opal. Apple. That's not a crystal.
Apple. Opalite.
There you go. It's
It was the thing. It
clear.
was translucent, but it was really pretty.
Yes.
Yeah.
I lost it. I don't know what happened. Someone at my old job stole it. Yes. Poor. All right, let me stop. Honestly, thank you for stopping by Blunt Talk Podcast. This was an amazing conversation. I feel like I got to know you a little bit better. I got to know you and love you as like a little sister, even though like you're like the big sister on the podcast, but you're my little sister right now.
Thank you.
Of course.
And thank you so much for having me. I had a blast. I've literally known you all my life. I don't know why we haven't done this sooner.
Listen, because it wasn't the right time.
It wasn't
divine timing.
You're right. You're right.
Okay. And we're both in a space where we could have this conversation. And you're always welcome to come back here.
I would love to.
Okay.
I would love to have you on mine too.
Oh, I'm super excited. Let my viewers know where they could find you and also let them know your website to your business because I want you to get all the business. Okay.
Thank you. All right, guys. So you can find me on Instagram at elevatedwithemma.com. Nope. At just elevated with Emma. And then you can find me on my TikTok, which is the same thing. YouTube is the same thing. And then if you want to buy crystals and see my blog posts, it's elevatedwithemma.com.
All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed another episode of here at Blunt Talk Podcast. You already know what the fuck is going on. We at Megaland Studios with it. And don't forget to stop at EB Guest on Boston Road. I don't know why I get State Street and Boston Road mixed up. I've been here my whole life. Don't judge me. Judge your mama. All right. Love you, Randy out.